Yo, 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 welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast conversations on lifestyle, passions, and hustles. Now, I'm totally thrilled to introduce you to our guest for today, and that is Carlo Obrien. Now, Carlo, I've known him for a good couple of years now, and what I love about Carlo so much is his passion and his enthusiasm and his skill as a photographer. Now, he's been doing photography for quite a while, and we touch on that in this episode. And, going for the journey of discovering his passion and finding that hidden talent and skill that he had. Now, he goes through a lot of detail in some of the different things in terms of his experience, how he got into it, and then taking the leap into actually doing this as his full-time gig. Carla, he has set the bar high and he creates some high quality content, and he's also just started a YouTube channel. So there's a lot to unpack in this episode. There's a lot that we chat about, and it's a very positive episode, and hearing, what he's all about and what he's been able to achieve and how you can probably do the same too. So let's get into it. Grab a coffee, grab a cup of tea, whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you comfortable when you're listening. Now, of course, we are on the YouTube channel as well. We are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, and a whole other range of different areas. So however you would love to consume this podcast, get there, get comfortable, and let's get into it. How you doing, Carlo? It's really good to have you on the episode, and I'm excited to actually have you on the whole podcast because it's been a long time coming, and you've been a big part of the Furry brand and Further Your Lifestyle. So I'm excited to have you here. How you doing, man?
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. I remember when I first saw that you were doing podcasts, I was like, man, I think I did message you saying like, hey man, you need to get me,
You
I need
did.
to get on this. Not because I wanted to be on it, but like just why the podcast is like, what's it about? I really like your journey as well as my journey. I thought, put them together. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
No, you're so welcome, man. And that's what it's all about, is finding people that are on the same, mindset and understandings. And it's really good because when we did meet each other, must have been about 2, 3, probably even 4 years ago when we first chatted, we were doing similar things, but now we're doing it at different scales and at different volumes. So, that's what we're here to chat about today. So let's just dive straight into about yourself, right? So, who are you? What's your background? Just a bit of a, overview for the listeners.
All right. So my name's Carlo O'Brien. A lot of people just call me Carlo. I'll start off at my photography journey, I guess. So I am 32 now, or I will be 32 in September. But as my photography journey started, it was, I wouldn't say by accident, but it was something that I didn't know that I liked. So one day I was in Japan, and I had a really good friend that I hadn't seen for a year. And he just messaged me. He's like, hey, dude, I see you're in Japan. I'm actually going to be in Japan tomorrow. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, if you land in the same city as me, which you did, let's have dinner and something like that. We ended up actually spending 3 to 4 days together, just literally hanging out, going shopping. And at this time, I didn't know anything about photography. I literally thought having an iPhone, you're the photographer now. I know everything. I know all the good shots. I just, so he actually had a Canon camera with him. I forget what Canon he had. I don't even know what lens he had, but he was carrying around the whole 3 to 4 days that we were there, and he was taking photos. And I was just looking at him okay, cool. I really didn't care. I just thought, all right, cool. This guy just likes to take photos. Like I said, I've got an iPhone. And then one day, we're in Shibuya Crossing. So if anyone knows Shibuya Crossing, it's very photogenic, and it's a place where it's funny because you don't actually go there to cross, it's you go there to look at it, and you're there for an hour just watching everyone cross the road and stuff like that. So we were there for a while, and he goes, oh man, can you just hold my camera? I need to tie my shoe up. And I was like, oh yeah. And it was on. And so I just go, oh, let me just do a sneaky shot. I took a photo of, it was either of a taxi or a really flash car. I don't have the photo anymore. I wish I did. But it might be on my old Instagram or something like that. But anyway, I looked at it and I was like, whoa, this is cool. And I realized that it just came out of the camera. So like, but for me to think that this photo looked good out of the camera kind of like sparked something in me. And he goes, oh, that's actually a good shot. Like, let's go back to the apartment and I'll show you how to edit it. And he showed me like Lightroom, and before this Lightroom, I was using like filters. I was using like those silly filters. Like I look back on it, I was like, well, what was I doing? And yeah, he showed me that, and I think it was about a month or two later, I bought a Nikon. It was D3400, and it came with like this kit lens on it, and I just was like, yep, I'm gonna start taking photos. And yeah,
And the rest
I got my cousins, I got my mates, and I was like, let me take your photo. And yeah, the rest is history. And I just, yeah, I don't look back. And yeah, I just think it's that point in time in Japan was like a meant to be moment.
Yeah. Okay. And so roughly how long ago was this?
I would say about 5.5 years ago.
Okay. So 5.5 years ago, out of nowhere, just by chance, you've met up with a mate, and both being in Japan, and you've kind of just gotten this spark for photography all of a sudden. So prior to this, you were just doing what everyone else is kind of doing, working the 9 to 5, just cruising, and you've been doing that for a while anyway, even since then. But did you go to university? Did you what's your background in terms of education? I mean, not that that's important, but I think it's just always exciting to hear where we land in our lifestyles and our passions usually isn't dictated by what we do with when it's education or upbringings. And I'm very curious to know, so what's your background in terms of education? Did you study?
Well, yeah, I finished grade 12. I had it was OP12 or 13, I think I got. Yep. And then after grade 12, I just worked at I was doing apprentice baking.
Okay. There we go. Completely different.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so I did that. I did apprentice baking, but I only did it for about 6 months because like the hours were like 2 a.m. to about 11 or 12.
Yeah. Yep.
In the afternoon, and or 11 in the morning. And then yeah, I was getting sick. It was full time.
Yep.
And after about 5 months, I started getting sick. Like for a whole month, I was very sick. Like I was lethargic. I had a cold. I had coughs. I was just someone you didn't want to be around in regards to like, you just were like, oh, this guy's sick. Like, so I just stopped it. And then I did TAFE. I did TAFE for about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, so that TAFE, what I was doing was, because I'm pretty into fashion.
Yep.
Not so much like I know like it 100%, but I just feel like I know what looks good, what's in, what's out, what's, like, so I was really into it at that time. So I decided to do this course at TAFE called Fashion Business.
Okay.
And I thought it was going to be a lot of business stuff because I wanted to start a brand. But basically what it was a lot of like pattern making, sewing, drawing, learning how to like fix and learning how to like thread through into a sewing machine.
Okay.
Like all this like stuff that like I didn't want to do. Like I don't want to know how to make, even though it's very important to know it, but like I didn't want to like, so
it's not really what you thought it was going to be. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is though, being me, it took me a year and a half to figure it out. Like I shouldn't be there. I wasted a year and a half to like and it was that was full time as well. So like, because my parents are cool, like I didn't have a job at that time, so I was just like living with them, living off them. So, but and then I just went into like working into like retail full time, and like I traveled a lot after that. When I turned 21, I traveled to the States many times, like it's in the double digits in the amount of times I've been to America. I got really obsessed with America at some point in my life. It was weird, the obsession with America.
Yeah, but it's so big and hype, so it can become like that.
That's basically my education. I did not have any education at all in photography or filmmaking or even marketing. I don't have any like education in any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I just got into it.
And that's why I wanted you to answer the question, is because the key thing that I wanted to make sure people hear early on is that no, you haven't been educated in photography. It's not like you went to school to do it. You know, even for video, for editing and all that jazz. And you mentioned marketing as well, because now, you know, with your photography, you are doing it as a business as well. So that's really key, because we usually don't know where we're going to end up. Of course, you know, if you look back, you know, 5-10 years ago, did you think where you were going to be now? Probably not. And then maybe not until you started to get into the realization of like your ambition and, you know, how much passion you had for the photography, you probably started to dream big and think of all the ambitions. But that's why I wanted to really bring it out, is because a lot of the time we don't realize where we're going to go, or sometimes we don't realize of our potential until we go through those lessons. Because yeah, you wanted to go into fashion and, you know, you had your ideas, but then when you jumped into it, it was kind of like, okay, this is not what I expected. And, you know, it took you a while to realize that. And sometimes that's also because maybe we're comfortable, or we're too scared to get uncomfortable. And, you know, we think it's going to change. But what I love about your story so far is that, you know, you were just doing life, doing what everyone's doing. And from that moment in Japan, where you're able to spark that passion for photography, something has come from that. So let's jump ahead then. You know, we're focused on you. You've been working, and 5 years ago in Japan, you get this spark for photography. So what happens next? I mean, where does it go from there?
So yeah, I buy this camera. The funny thing is though, like I didn't know why or how I was going to use the camera. I just
Okay.
wanted to buy a camera and take photos. And I guess I was one of those, and this is not a wrong thing to be, like, I'm not bagging it or anything, but like, I literally thought when you buy a camera, like that's I guess a professional camera, that when you take the photo, that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and yeah, so that's what I thought. So I buy this camera, and the first person I think of that can help me was my great friend. I've known him since we were 8 years old, Mitch Lally.
Yep.
So if anyone's listening, look him up. His stuff's awesome. His Instagram, he does YouTube, he does it all. But yeah, he's awesome. I said to him, I was like, hey bro, I bought a camera, and I know that you do wedding photography and you're a photographer in general. And like, do you want to help me out? But and he goes, yeah, bro. Like I think it was like a day later, he came to my house and we went out nighttime shooting. So he was just showing me like long exposure shots, lighting at nighttime, because I was working full time. So I guess he could only show me at nighttime.
Isn't that like the deep end of photography? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
nighttime, well, for me, and it's funny how you said, you know, pick up the camera and you think you can do everything. And just for everyone's understanding, is when I first met you, it was, you know, through the business of furry, and I liked your photography, right? And the version of me trying to take pictures versus you, mine, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I could do that. And I take it and I'm like, what the heck? Expectation versus reality. Whereas yours, you know, always came out so much better, of course. But you know, you talking about night photography, that sounds like a fair, I mean, to me, once again, that comes across as something that's quite hard to do.
Oh, well, like the stuff that he was showing me, like long exposure stuff. And also like we did like a long exposure shot of like the Ferris wheel.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. And like he goes to me like, oh look, I'll show you how to do this, blah blah. And he's all talking all this mumbo jumbo, like you gotta do it like this and do it like that and make sure the aperture's like this and the shutter speed's like that. And I was like, yeah, bro. And like he took this photo and I was thinking, holy moly, like this is amazing. Like, how did you do this? Like,
Yeah.
it's like wizardry, like it's magic. Like, but the funny thing is, well, I didn't care for that. I wanted to take photos of people.
Yeah, okay.
And I thought that type of photography was really impressive. But I think from the get-go, I knew what I didn't want to take photos of, but I did not really know yet what I wanted my photography journey to go to. Because I said to Mitch, I was like, yeah, this nighttime stuff's cool, man. Like I want to do it more, because obviously you got to learn everything, even if you don't want to, like, you know, do that type of stuff. Like if you don't know that type of photography, or you're just not going to get it anyway. So yeah, he taught me other things, and we went out in the daytime, and I shot at the time. He was with his partner. He's not with anymore, but like she came and helped and modeled, and like I took some photos of her and things like that. So I just learned like that. And Mitch always says to a lot of other photographers about me that like I might be pretty new, like, well, in regards to being like a professional photographer.
Yep.
But I shoot the most.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so I worked Monday to Friday, but every Saturday and Sunday, I would take photos. I would never have a Saturday and Sunday off. I would never shoot on a Saturday and not shoot on a Sunday.
Yep.
I would shoot Saturday and Sunday for like 3 years.
Yeah.
There was not one time. Yeah. And then if I took a holiday, so if we went down to Sydney for a week, or we went to Bali, or wherever we went, I would always take photos. I did not know what I was taking photos of. I just wanted to take photos, whether it was a person, landscape. I don't care if it was a drink, a can of Coke. I would just take photos of it and just shoot and figure out like what I wanted. And I guess like even now to this day, like I still try to figure out like what's going to be awesome, what's not going to be awesome. But I'm not going to know if it's not good until I do it.
Yeah.
Like
it's a very good point. And, I think you've touched on a really good nugget right there. Is you mentioned that, for 3 years, you were going out on weekends because you're working full time and you're just taking lots of pictures. And I think that's important to anything that we're trying to achieve. Is, it's not like, you can just pick up the camera and all of a sudden you're hitting out bangers. You might get that awesome shot, which to you thinks amazing, but then when you start to realize, how much broader it is, and, all the lingo and and stuff, there's a whole science to it, right? And there's a whole process to it. But with anything that we do in life, and I think this is why it's so important I wanted to repeat it, is you said you were doing 3 years of going out and just shooting, taking pictures and learning. And a lot of the time we don't realize that in order to get to where we think we want to be, we have to go through that process. It's the grind. It's the trial and error, failing forward and continuing to show up, or time on feet, right? Because if you don't have the experience, you can't learn. And if you don't learn, well, you're not going to grow. So, maybe your intention wasn't necessarily late. You were just having fun. You were enjoying it. But from doing that, you're able to learn quickly to realize, well, what's working, what's not working, what do you like, what don't you like? And you're getting all the skills along the way because you're doing in your daily and everyday life, whether you, as you said, if you go to Sydney or if you're just out on the weekend. So I think this is really important because when you reflect on that, if you had gone out and if someone had said to you, like, you need to do this every day, or you need to get out and do this on the weekends, do you think you would have done it because, it would have come across as a chore? Or do you think maybe if someone had, if Mitch had told you need to get out and shoot, would you have done it that way? Or do you think this just came more natural?
Well, you can like look at that in two parts. Like, for example, if someone like Mitch or another photographer that I looked up to, or even just someone that might be starting off at the same time as me, they said to me, dude, we need to go out Saturday and Sunday on our days off and take photos. I would be like, yes, let's do that. But if someone told me you need to do this and you need to do that with photography, that did not do anything with photography, did not know anything about it, I'm not going to listen to them.
Yeah, okay.
But it was, I don't know what it was. The funny thing is, like, going back to Japan, there was just this spark. There was something about that photo that wanted me to buy a camera and just keep taking photos. Like, even now, like, even though like I get paid now for my photography, it's still, I still love it. I'm not doing it because of the money. Of course, I've got to eat and I've got to, have a roof over my head, but like, it's not, to me, it's not about like, oh, so if I do this job for this company, man, I'm going to charge them like crazy. I'm going to do this because these photos are for me and for the company. I won't work with a company if the photos are not for me. I will, and unless they're going to pay me like something crazy, then I'll do it. But like, I want to still love photography. I want to, a I was listening to a podcast, Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle the other day, and they literally were just talking about being a comedian. And like Joe Rogan was saying that like he still got nervous when he went on stage. And Dave Chappelle said, that's because you still care.
Yeah.
You know, you still care about like this guy has, you know, so much money. He does not need to care. Like, you know that you care about your craft, your life, your family. When you do care, like when you do get nervous or you don't want to like ruin it, you don't want to F it up, you know, you still get nervous. So like, you know, I've been here for 5 years now and like, I still care like all the time about
100%.
like what I'm taking photos of. It's not, I'm not doing it, you know, because I want heaps and heaps of followers. I don't do it because like I want subscribers on YouTube. I don't do it because like the money is good. I do it because I care.
Yeah.
Like I do it because like I love it. Also, like I can do what I'm doing right now with you. That's why I love
100%, 100%. And that's what it's all about, right? The passion and the joy, you know, and I've been following you for a while. So I've seen, you know, everything that you're doing, you know, it's grown and expanded and scaled so much, right? And that's been so exciting to watch. But even seeing your content change, because even when I first saw your content, and once again, for clarity for everyone, is, you know, I reached out and you reached out and we, you know, you did a shoot for me for the business and all that. Now, to me, that was amazing stuff. And I know prior to us, you know, doing this, we caught up and you thought back then that wasn't even that good. But the reality is, you know, your good then was good, right? Because it was better than me. It was better than everyone else, you know, other people that I was, you know, looking at getting. And now that I can see how much more you've grown, and I couldn't even fathom the potential that you have because I don't know the photography. To me, it's like, if someone's taking a better picture than me, well, then of course that it's worth it, right? But to see you grow even more, and with that passion, you know, now you've got the following, you've got the YouTube, and the content you're creating, it's so crisp, it's so clean. And not saying that it wasn't already, but it's just on a whole nother level. And you know,
I think it's more
really
just
good.
very consistent. That's what
Well, that's
like
it. That's
like that's what I'm trying, like especially with Instagram, like you know, imagine there was no Instagram, right? Like I couldn't really show you my work unless maybe I opened up like an art gallery, like with all my photos. Then you could go in, you know, I'll have white walls everywhere. I'd still have the same photos on my Instagram. But like even if I had all my photos on my Instagram in a white room, you know, and it was really nice to look at, like you'd be like, wow, these photos are very consistent. There's nothing, you know. And that, like, back to what Mitch was showing me when I first did photography, night photos. Like, imagine if you looked at my Instagram and like I threw a night photo in, like it just wouldn't work. Like, no. I would actually. It could have been. It could be the best night photo you've ever seen, but that might make me not look like a very good photographer for my page.
That's a good point, right? And you know, now I think it's a good way to segue to that. So you've obviously found your style, right? And maybe just to give context for people. So if you had to, obviously people can't necessarily see it because they're listening, but if they are on the YouTube, I can flash something up and people can have a look. But of course, I'm encouraging people to jump over and have a look at your content. But if you had to pitch or describe what content you create in terms of your style, what is that? What does it look like? How can help us vision it? What is that? What does it look like?
I get a lot of messages from a lot of people that like I don't know, like especially people from around the world that are like maybe, you know, they're trying to be photographers or they just have it as a hobby. But a lot of people say like different things, but I get a lot of it's very clean and nice to look at photography, consistent. I get, but like if you were to like to get all my photos and kind of like categorize it, like name it or whatever you want to call it, like I would say it's like travel, portraits type of photography. Because when I first, because like there's been about 3 times in my photography journey where I had a style. So like when I first started, the style was streetwear.
Correct.
That's like what I thought. Oh yeah, streetwear is cool. I wear streetwear. Why not just take photos of people wearing streetwear? And that was the style I did. That was like my original Instagram account, and that was my style. And then after that, I realized, I don't really want to do streetwear. I more want to do like nice colors. Like I want to really like get the right model for the shot, the right location, the right outfits. I want it to be more thoughtful. I
Yep.
really want to. I just don't want to be like to anybody and be like, "Hey, you're wearing a cool outfit. Let's just go to this brick wall and then take a photo." Like, I wanted to really think about it. I wanted to make sure that the locations were beautiful. I wanted to make sure the outfit matched the location. Like, I didn't want to have like a red top with a blue wall, or, you know, like it just, there's too much going on. So like I did that and I loved it at one point. I was like, wow, I've really like gone one step here now up in regards to my like photography skills. Um, and then after a while, I kind of got over that. Not over like doing that type of photography, but just only that photography. So my page that I'm currently on now, the Carlo Obrien one, it actually used to be only models. So it was just like model, just and good photos. There was nothing wrong with the photos. It was just model. And I don't want to get too far into it, but I did not want to be known as a photographer that only shoots with models.
Okay.
Didn't want to have that like, oh, look at this guy, like he only shoots with models. He's one of those, you know, and I wasn't doing any like crazy photos. Like I was just doing nice portraits, you know, like there weren't anything crazy or there was, you know, no nudity or no lingerie style, nothing crazy. It was just normal, nice portraits that people can post. But I thought, you know, like, and this is where the style I'm at now. So the travel, I travel a lot. I had all these photos of traveling. I had all these photos of like models, but they weren't really portraits. They were more like them standing in the far. And I framed them in the middle of the shot just so it looks really nice. So I was like, I'm just gonna go travel photos, portraits, and just generally good shots in general. My page now literally looks like a travel page. It's fully changed now. And this is a style I think I am going to keep now for probably the rest of my photography journey. I don't think there's anything different I can do.
It'd be good to reflect on this in 5 years' time.
I know.
But there's nothing wrong with that, right? And I think, you know, what you've explained there, it is really exciting to see how you evolved. And I alluded to that prior to even saying this, right? Was because you've expanded your understanding and your knowledge base and also your curiosity and your passion for the photography. So it makes sense that you evolve it and change it over time and pivot it. And you're right, because now that you have your set, whether we're calling it style or theme or, you know, just the things that you love to shoot, it really does pop and stand out. And it doesn't mean that you can't take good photography of night shots and other stuff. That's just not really necessarily your interest or where you want to put your, you know, your focus time. So I think that's important though, is because when we go out to do anything and, you know, stepping away from photography is we need to go through that process. Kind of what I said at the start is, you know, you need to continuously keep doing those things to learn and understand and find out more about it. Because if you just stick to one thing and if you don't broaden that horizon and explore, well, then you're potentially going to be missing out on that potential or that opportunity that you can, you know, create and make a reality. So, I mean, it makes complete sense, dude. It's really good. So you've touched on, you know, what you've created and what you're doing and, you know, a bit of your journey. So let's dive into a bit about like, you've gone from working and now you're actually doing this as a business, right? You mentioned that you do now make money from doing this. And I know on the side, when we first met, you were probably just doing small little portrait gigs and things like that. But now you're full out actually, you know, doing this, whether it's full time or majority of your time, but majority of your income is coming from this. So what does that even look like? How did you get to that point? Or I guess the curiosity I have is, you know, there's a difference between doing those side gigs and then actually saying, okay, now I'm going to start doing a package, or now I'm actually going to start bringing in the income. So that shift, how does that even look? Or maybe, you know, talking a bit about that, because that's not easy to do, right? Because there comes a bit of a confidence piece. You know, we can get so, you know, skewed up in our own self and think, oh, you know, my stuff isn't good enough, but now you're doing it. So, I mean, that's, yeah. Let's talk
I
about that.
mean, so when I first met you, that was I can I was pretty confident in my photography at that time.
Okay.
Like I look back at it and I don't like it what I was doing, but at that time, like if
You
I
were
was to go
confident.
back in time, I'd still think that like that was good photography. Like it is still good photography,
It is.
but from where I am now, because my style's totally different. It's not my style anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, yeah, it's just a totally different thing. So I like doing that stuff, but it's just not my style anymore. But when I first met you doing that, I was doing like jobs for clothing brands for free.
Yep.
Like
Correct.
they weren't big brands or anything. Well, I wasn't like, doing anything for like anyone crazy. It was like more like starter brands. Even like I was doing like stuff like brands that like do socks,
Yep.
hats only, like glasses. Yeah, just very small brands. They only maybe had like 2,000 followers on the
Yep.
Instagram. They were starting off, and I was even like working with a couple of models that were working with brands,
Yep.
but I was just doing all the photos for free.
Yep.
And like if anything, like for a long period of time there, I did not think at all that I would ever make money from being a photographer.
Okay.
Like I knew you could, but I didn't think that was like a goal of mine.
Okay.
I just did it for the love of it.
Yep.
I just wanted to meet people. I wanted to hang out. I wanted to take photos. I more wanted people to be like, man, this is a cool photo. Thank you so much. Like, and like to me, that's like, man, that's like the income right there. Like that's
Yeah.
making me feel good about myself, and like knowing that when I'm happy and they're happy, then what better, what better in life to
Yeah.
know that like the two parties are happy. But yeah, I was doing, dude, in my apartment, the amount of clothes that I had stacked up in boxes from companies was crazy.
Okay.
I'm talking, yeah, and I had a like a little 1-bedroom apartment at the time, and like my lounge room was stacked full of clothes. And after I did the shoots, like sometimes, man, brands would like it would be girls' brands sending me stuff, like stuff that I couldn't even use. So like I was giving them to like friends. If my mates had girlfriends, I'm like, dude, does your girlfriend fit this? Like, and all the other clothes that I was getting, because I had so much of it, I was just giving it to my mates.
Yeah.
I was just letting them have it. Like, there you go. And eventually, when I moved out of that apartment, I just gave all of it away. Yeah, I had a heap of it. But like to transition from doing that to getting paid for gigs, it took a long time, but it wasn't a long time. It was only a long time because like I wasn't trying to push it. I wasn't trying to like get paid. It just took a long time because like I maybe it could be a catch-22. I loved it so much that I should have been getting paid, but I just, I loved it so much.
So what was the trigger then? Because, I think now that you're reflecting it, you're going through your head and thinking, I was like, oh, well, you probably could have been paid, but there must have been a point in time where you realized, no, So, I mean, I'm trying to understand, well, what was the trigger or what pushed you over the edge? Was it because you literally needed the money, or was it because you started to look at it from a different perspective, or was it from advice from someone else?
I was working full time. I didn't need the money. Actually, the job that I have, not to brag, but like the job that I had working Monday to Friday, man, that the income that was giving me, man, like I didn't need to like worry about.
Okay.
Know?
Which is good. It means money wasn't the motivator, which is good because it means it's all passion.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wasn't like, oh, I need to get paid for this. I need to charge this company. What it was is, I can't pinpoint the exact time, but what it was is a company that I did a shoot for. It had to be clothes. It would have been clothes.
Yeah.
I did a shoot for them. They sent me like these outfits and things like that. And I realized that like I didn't like the outfits.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the outfit, and I'm not going to name names because I actually don't remember. But like, I just didn't like the outfits. I didn't like how I took the photos. The day just wasn't right. It just wasn't feeling good. And anyway, I did these photos, and the brand were like messaging me, "Can we get the photos? How long are they going to be?" They just, blah blah blah. and these guys are getting it for free, and
Yeah.
they're on my back. Like, they're not just saying, hey, like, can you have the photos ready by Wednesday, and it's Monday. It's like, they're like, when is it ready? When will it
Yeah.
be ready? Can you tell us? Blah, blah. And then, like, so I did these photos, and again, I'm working Monday to Friday, which is not the company's fault. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, but I can't edit photos while I'm working. And at nighttime, I would be editing. And I remember, like, one night, all the boys were like, let's go out. We're going to get dinner. We're going to go play pool. And I wanted to, but I couldn't. I had to actually do this thing. And that triggered me, like, I would feel more better about myself. I would still miss out on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I would be a lot more better if I got paid for this.
Yeah. Because you're taking your time away.
Yeah, it's taking my time, like, and yeah, so that triggered me. So, like, I just started charging. I wasn't charging, I was charging things like $100 for like 20 photos, like stuff like that. Like, and that made me feel good, like, to get 100, or like I would ask them, send me, I would start only working with brands that I think that I would wear.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I really would want to post.
Yep.
But this is still when I was doing streetwear stuff. So, yeah. And then after a while, I got a really big job so one of my friends I ran into back from high school, she has like a marketing company for like vegan foods.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a thing, but like, I guess it has to be, right? Anyway, like, yeah, I messaged her after I ran into her, say, hey, like, it was good to see you. Like, we should do like a photo shoot sometime, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, cool. And then she started telling me about this company that needs photos through her marketing. And I was like, yeah, sweet. Like, I'll do that. And she goes, what's your prices? And I was like, I don't really have, like, I didn't say that. I was like, yeah, I'll send me an email. I'll send you a couple of quotes and, packages. And she's like, yeah, cool, sweet. And so I get home and she messaged me. She's like, yeah, this is my email. Like, and I go, okay, just let me know what they want. And it was a company that was doing like protein bars, vegan protein bars.
Yep.
And so I said to her, I was like, what do they want? And she goes, oh, they've got 5 models. And it's 2 locations. So one's going to be in the woods and one's going to be at the beach.
Okay.
And I go, okay, cool. And how many photos do they want? And they're like, oh, probably like 10 photos each person.
Okay.
So, I go, okay, cool. That's easy. So I go, oh, I'll do it for like $700.
Yeah.
That's, and I was thinking, like, man, $700 to, like, this sounds pretty, like, easy. And this is like one of my first, like, campaigns, like one of my first campaigns. And so the day comes, I pick her up and we have all the chocolate bars and all the protein bars, and then we go up to like the mountains, and there was 2 models there, ended up actually being 3 models.
Yep.
So that's an extra 10 photos. So I did that. Then we drive all the way to the beach, which was like a half an hour drive from the mountains. And then I shot with, like, it was supposed to be 3 models down there. It was 3 models, but they were all with their partners. Right. So, like, and one of them had a family as well, like a little daughter.
Yep.
So that's more people, blah, blah. Oh, actually, sorry, before we actually did the shoot, she goes, $700. No, like, their budget's like $2,000.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, true. Like, I mean, if they're happy to pay $2,000, like, and at this point, at this point too, like, I'm back then, I'm confident in my photography. My photography hasn't changed too much since then.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of way I edit or anything like that, but it hasn't changed very much since then. I still post some of the photos, actually, but so yeah, I'm getting paid $2,000 for this. So I'm thinking, yo, this is where it's at, like $2,000, like, for this, and I do it, but the day just dragged. Like, we got up at 9 in the morning. We didn't get home till like 8 at night.
Yeah.
It was a big day, and I did all the driving. I had to, like, talk to each model, and yeah, for some reason there was like points where, like, I didn't want to talk to some of the model. I just wanted to take the photos, like, and because I was shooting for like a chocolate, like a protein bar brand, there's only so many photos I can take of somebody holding it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's it's not a t-shirt. Like the t-shirt, you can see whether it's far, whether I'm close.
Yeah.
With the bar, like I got to take photos really close because like
Yeah. Doesn't pop.
so yeah. So even though I was getting paid well for that for a day's job, plus I had to edit the photos, which that only took me a week. But $2,000 for like 8 days of work, like to me, worth it. But I realized I should ask way more questions. I need more details. I need times. I need finishes. Like those are the things you learn though whenever you're like doing any job, even when you start working for a company.
Yeah.
You might do things one way this week and then realize, oh, I should have done it this way. And then after working there for a year, and then a new person comes, then you're the person to go and teach this person like what you think. So, but yeah, that was the first time I like was like, wow, man, you can really get paid like really well. Like $2,000 for a week's work, like for me is like, my job that I was working at, like I was getting paid a lot more than that a week. But like I was like, if I can have a coffee every day without a boss behind me, and I can take photos, like I don't care if I was getting $1,000 a week. Like, like
it's that mentality change, right? And
like I think where a lot of people go, I wouldn't say go wrong, because like if you can get your money, you can get your money. Like that's all. That's good for you. Get paid. Because like I said before, you got to eat. But like I think where a lot of people go wrong in regards to like being a creative, like they lose their passion and focus on like the money. And like when you focus on the money, like are you really producing the best work that you can possibly? Because you might get stressed out. You're like, fuck, man, like this company's paying me now. Now I got to produce really good work. But are you really? It's like. But yeah, it's a double-ended sword. Because like if you do it for free, you're gonna be able to produce good work, but you're not getting paid. You're wasting time. Yeah. So, and then after that, like Mitch, because Mitch does weddings, and so Mitch is like, come with me to a wedding, help me out. Like I did them for free for a bit. So recently, last year, basically I became professional, if you want to call it professional, like without trying to brag or anything like that. Like I do this and I do that, like with labels. I basically became professional around just after COVID. First hit. Because I got made redundant from my job.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I got made redundant, got a good payout. So I was like, man, like I can live off this for at least 7 months. Without even worrying about work. And yeah, I just started taking photos, and like I was loving it. Like I wasn't even doing jobs. I was just hanging out, taking photos. Like we couldn't travel anywhere, but like I was driving to the Gold Coast, I was going to Noosa. I was just taking photos, hanging out with my mates that are photographers, and I was really loving it. And then after about 4 months of doing like nothing, when I said I was doing nothing, like I was making YouTube videos. I was shooting a lot, but after 4 months, I started looking at the bank account, and I was thinking about the future in regards to like travel. I was like, dude, I want to have money ready for travel. So I went back to an old job. So I started working with them for a bit, and I did that full time for about 6 months, and then I was shooting on the weekends, this and that. And I had a couple of weddings, which I had to take days off. So like I started going to weddings, and so right now my main income is weddings. Every now and then I'll work with a brand. So right now I'm working with like a wallet company. Really cool wallets. I love their stuff. I would recommend like that's the thing. Like I wouldn't work with them if I didn't love them. If I didn't love them. So even though it's not my style, if you look at my page, there's no wallets, there's no brand photos, like anything like that. But like I love their stuff. So I'm doing that now, and a lot of weddings. Like I've got a wedding this afternoon, like right after we
nice.
got a wedding. And like that's the thing too. Like I did not know that like I could be a wedding photographer. I did not know any of that stuff. Like And I don't know if it's because I just loved it too much. I love photography too much, but I wasn't really exploring the income part of photography.
Yep.
I was just exploring like, and whoever, if anyone's listening to this that wants to be a professional photographer and get paid from it, like one thing I would recommend that I didn't do is try to figure out what you love.
Yep.
All right. And then figure out if you can make money off that. And also like just see if there's any other jobs out there that are in the same field that you can do. So my love is travel and portraits, travel photos and portraits and traveling. That's my like absolute, that's the only thing I post on the gram. That's the only thing I basically talk about when I do YouTube and camera stuff, like camera gear.
Of course. Yeah.
But like weddings for me are like, it's a good income because like I just do 1 12-hour day or maybe two a week, and I can sit at home and edit. I don't know, like, you know, and if I'm my own boss, so, you know, I'm a bit behind in edits at the moment because I went to news the last 2 days, but like that's what I can do. Like I don't have to like chuck a sickie. I can wake up and be like, all right, I'm going to go to Noosa today. I can get a coffee, you know? So like, yeah, growing up when I was, you know, 17, 18, 19, 20, maybe up until I was 25, I literally thought it's get a job that pays well. And then that's it. Like, don't think about anything else.
Yeah.
Don't worry about like, you know, any other income or, you know, anything. I just thought get a job, work, buy a car, pay it off, buy a house, pay it off, travel twice a year, you know, like that's what I thought, you know, income life would be or is, you know, so, and it's like I said to you, I think I've said it 3 to 4 times in this talk, it's not about money.
Yeah.
It's about the lifestyle.
100%.
100%. Like imagine you're allowed to have a coffee with your best friend 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Any place you want to go, any location in your city. Like I got to a point where I was trying to figure out where the best cafe is in Brisbane. I went to a different cafe nearly every day. Like that's how free I was.
Yeah. And this is the mentality and why I think it's so important to have, you know, yourself and all the other guests that I've been having and yet to have on the podcast is because you all bring unique stories and different things that you're tackling, different passions and joys or lifestyles, but there's still that underlying point of the freedom of being able to do things when you want to do it and not looking at it from the normal, but I mean, at the same, you are still doing a grind. You are still, you know, doing stuff to make a living, but you're doing it in the bounds of your own mentality and your own choosing, which is what changes it or changes that perspective. And I think it takes a lot of the time, you know, things to happen, whether it's a spark or unfortunately maybe COVID or being made redundant for us to actually take those leaps. And the thing that I've loved about your story is that, you know, you found the passion and you've been doing it regardless, not about the money, not about that you're wanting to do it as a business, but you were just doing it to have fun because you enjoyed it. And it's evolved, it's grown, and it's become something which is, you know, obviously it's still a passion, but that passion has now become lucrative and it's able to make you a living. And being able to see that expansion over time and hear it from you, I think, well, I hope it's encouraging others because whether it's to do with photography, whether it's to do with skateboarding, whether it's to do creating art, or maybe it is being full-time on YouTube and creating content, we all have the ability to be able to do these things, but we don't know until you actually do it, right? And I think that's the difference here is you've got time on feet, you've got experience, you've put the experience in yourself. And what I loved so much that you said, it was like, you know, find something you love, do it, and then figure out about the money. But I think what's also cool is a lot of the time, you do the things you love, the money will come to you. It will find itself there because, you know, just like you said, the brand was willing to pay and you said 700, but they're like, well, we're happy to pay $2,000, right? And not that it's about the money, but you didn't go into that with that mentality because one, you hadn't had that experience, but that wasn't your intention. So when you started to realize, oh, actually there's more opportunity here, you started to see those different levels of potential, I guess. And I'm just anxious of time, and we've touched on so much, and there's so much we can unpack here. But I want to jump a little bit to what you mentioned about, you know, you are on YouTube as well, and I know that's another key area of content that you're creating. And I wanted to kind of touch on that. So you do have the YouTube, and what's that all about, and what's your intent there, and how's it going?
Yeah, YouTube for me is it's a new thing for me. Look, I'm 32 this year. Look, I did not know about photography, or I didn't know that I love photography until I was about 27. I think that's when I was. And I didn't know that you can get paid being a photographer until I was about 29, 30. So, like, just off track a bit, like, you don't have to be young to figure out what your passion is. You don't have to do everything straight away. You don't need everything to happen like that. Okay. Like, it will happen, just figure it out. Like, just sit down and have a think about it. Write down what you love, what you don't like, and whatnot. And yeah, like, you might not know that you like something. Like, I never thought I would love photography. I didn't even think that I would do YouTube. Like, I'm 32, and I'm in that generation where we grew up with like like Nintendo, where like and PlayStation, where like it's new technology, but it was that technology where they were just trying to figure it out. Like, and it was exciting. Now we're in this like generation where like technology is just awesome. Like, seriously, like, if you could think about it, like, I can edit a photo on my laptop and airdrop it straight to my phone. And put it on my Instagram. Like, what is airdrop? Like, I don't know how it works. Like, so and if I want to share it to a friend so he can post it, I just airdrop it. So like, I'm in that generation where like technology is so fast moving that I sometimes can't keep up. And like, I only started YouTube when COVID started. Like, originally my first YouTube video was going to be in Japan. We were in Japan in November 2019. And so me and Mitch, we filmed it, and I was not feeling it. I was like, this is terrible. What am I thinking? I do not do YouTube, like, blah, blah. And he's just like, oh, okay. And he wasn't disappointed, but he was just like, come on, man. Like, you got to start. You got to like do it. And I was like, no, delete this footage, get rid of it. Like, I still did the photo shoot with the model, but I was just like, nah, get rid of this. Yeah, this is terrible, man. Like, and that was in November of 19. And then when COVID happened and I got made redundant, I sat down with Mitch and I was like, bro, like, I've got all this time. Let's do like YouTube. So like, I finally did a video, and I didn't know what I was going to like have YouTube for, like, in regards to like what my content or anything like that. I just wanted people to see what like I was like, my personality, or like what my shoots were like, how the photos turn out. And I just wanted to have like a little video. Now I have I think it's about, since then, March of whenever COVID was last year, I think I've got about 22 videos out now. So some of them are talking about like camera lenses, some are talking about my camera, locations, talking about or showing off my photography. And like, my most recent post that I did last week was about I've got like the cheapest Canon camera, mirrorless camera you can get, and my friend TK in Sydney has the most expensive Canon you can get. So we kind of do like a comparison and like what you get out of his and what you get out of mine type of stuff. But yeah, YouTube, man, is a whole different world. I didn't know that people were really into YouTube. Like, I thought it was Instagram. If you're on Instagram and you're doing well on Instagram, then yeah, you're all good. But YouTube, whole nother world, whole nother like, yeah, like there's people out there that will like message me on YouTube or comment on my thing saying like, why'd you do this and why'd you do that? Like, that's not the right this and that's not the right that. And then I'll be like, oh, okay. And then I'd quickly have a stalk at their Instagram. And this guy hasn't even taken a photo before in his life. Like, he's critiquing me and he's never like, and then I thought about it. I was like, well, I watch movies and I critique the director all the time. Like, why did he flip over when he was running from the thing? Or why did he have to die like that? Or, like, so I can understand, like, that's like me messaging James Cameron and saying, dude, like, Jack could have survived on the boat, with the table at the end. And like, he didn't have to be, sinking at the end of the movie. But like, that's the world of YouTube. Like, people are on there. Like, I didn't know YouTube was that crazy, and I love it. Like, I'm obsessed with YouTube now.
No, it's good. It does. It really opens up perspective and potential. And I just want to backtrack a little bit. How you touched on the technology. I think that's really important for people listening to understand that, whether you're 40, 60, 15 or 18 or in between, there's opportunity there for everyone. And you touched on around, you don't have to be young to be, doing these things. You can be older and make that change, right? And I think that's very key. And at the same time, with the technology that we have, the ability to execute and grow, and the potential to expand and get people seeing your stuff, it's just unbelievable, right? And the only thing stopping you is yourself, right? If you don't put in the action, if you don't do the time. Now, I'm not going to say that you start today and all of a sudden you have that overnight success, but we'll use you as an example. You said 3 years, 5 years. When you think of that over 70 years or 60 years, it's nothing, right? And it can change what that next 60 years looks like. So I think it's very important to understand what we have available to us, because if you've got an idea and you think, oh, maybe someone else will want to see it, film it, see what happens. And of course, it's going to be awkward, it's going to be cringy, and it's going to be at the start. But that's like with anything. Even if you go work a 9-to-5 job, you're going to be cringy, you're going to be awkward, you're going to ask dumb questions. Yeah. And that's like anything in life. But I think because it's out there, people get nervous. But a lot of the time, people don't care. They're not really going to be looking at that. They're looking at the real key message behind it. So just a quick encouragement for everyone. So being anxious of time as well. So where do you intend to take YouTube? Or is it kind of like you're just going to continue, just see what happens and play it out?
Well, yeah, I guess where I'm at with YouTube is like where I was when I first started photography.
Nice.
I just do it because I love it. Like, it's cool. Like, I've done one video for a company called July. They're actually based down in Melbourne.
Okay.
It's a suitcase company.
Oh, yep. Yeah, I think I remember seeing some pictures you did.
Yeah. So like, awesome company, really great people to work with. And they sent me some items, and I did a YouTube video on their suitcases, which was really awesome. So like, I'm looking at maybe like doing things like that with YouTube, but just putting my personality on it, because it is a video. It's not like I'm just going to do a photo.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm thinking in the future with YouTube, like, I'm going to turn it into more of like, because it's called a channel, like when you have your own YouTube channel, but I really want to turn it into a channel. So like, for example, I want to do things like where, this is easier said than done, but like, I want to have like a week or every 2 weeks, like a certain episode.
Yep. Okay.
So like, it'd be, I'll just, I don't know, call it like $50 Fridays. What does $50 get me?
Yep.
For an outfit that I'm going to shoot with a model.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just like something where like I have like a certain episode, like once a month maybe, where people go, oh man, like this episode's coming out. This is the date.
Yep. So it builds the hype and it has that retention. I think that's that's a really good mentality to it, is because we can all look at it from different ways. People look at it from whether you like kind of what you said, come back for a weekly show or a weekly episode, or then you have the vloggy style, or then you have just random stuff as well. And I don't think there's any right way, but I'm excited to hear that. That's really cool.
Yeah. So, well, originally the reason why I started the YouTube was I thought COVID was going to be like a 2-month thing.
Yeah.
I thought like, oh yeah, COVID's only going to like, people are going to forget about it. Like, it's just going to be whatever. Because I was that year of COVID, I was planning on going to the States, Hawaii, and South Korea.
Jeepers.
So that was like the plan. And I was going to vlog it all, like vlog each city, vlog each country. And that was going to be my YouTube content. So like, I couldn't really do that at all. So what I did was I just got Mitch and a couple of my other photographer friends to like film me on like shoots. So like it worked out well anyway, because like the stuff that I created or put out there like is pretty good content.
Oh, it is. It's really good. Go check it out, people. Go check it out.
Yeah. Check it out. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I recently reached 1,000 subscribers maybe about a month ago. So like, not that it's crazy, but like, you got to start somewhere. You got to do it. Like,
that's it.
I was speaking to a friend and I was like, oh, you should do YouTube. well, by friend, I'm talking to my partner Amanda. So I'm telling her like, do YouTube. Like, you should do it. She's got a really cute personality and things like that. But like, one thing that I tell her is, and she goes, oh, but like I said, you should do stuff about clothes and makeup and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, oh, but like, there's a lot of YouTube people doing that, And I was like, yeah, but like, there's more people not doing it.
That's right.
Like, I know I go back to like Instagram followers. Like, there's people out there that have like, let's say you lived in America, right? And you had 5 million Instagram followers.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 360 million Americans, just Americans in that country. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and he's got 5 million, like you still got the rest of the world to get, so like that person doesn't really have a big following in regards to world scale.
Correct.
So like, it's a lot of followers, don't get me wrong. Okay. And that's good for them. But like, there's more people not doing Instagram stuff. There's more people not doing YouTube stuff. So you may as well get in now before everyone's doing it. Like, I remember there was a point where everyone was doing clothing brands.
Yeah.
Like I knew like everyone was doing clothing brands, and like it's good to do it, but like it's a tough gig when everyone's doing it.
That's right. 100%.
Well, I started a clothing brand when I was like 23 or something.
Yeah.
Man, what was I thinking? Like, it was terrible. Like,
but I mean, you think of Nike, right? I mean, Nike, they started when there was already big competition out there, and they started just in the back of their house again. And if he didn't push forward and make it happen, and now they're dominating, right? But if that same mentality, right? If they did not push forward or put the time on feet and get that experience, which is what we keep coming back to, then you won't know. And I'm gonna say to your girlfriend, I hope you've done the YouTube already now.
Yeah, we filmed it last week, and
awesome.
I'm helping her edit it now. So it's gonna be good. She's actually really good. When she filmed it, she did it in the apartment here, and I just went in the room and closed the door so I couldn't hear her, because I just didn't want her to be like self-conscious about her voice, or because it's weird when you hear your voice, So like, I just left her alone, and she did it all by herself. Like, I helped her out with framing and like, a bit of B-roll stuff, like things like that. But yeah, like from what I'm only halfway through her video, and from what she's doing, like better than I've ever done. Like, literally, however she's talking to the camera, it's 10 times better than whatever I did. Like, even now to this day, I still get nervous in front of the camera. Like,
oh yeah, I totally get that. And what will be funny is she'll probably release it, and she'll probably be bigger and going more viral than you quicker.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny too, because like all my photography mates, like that are, I don't really like to say this word, like, but like they're big time. Like they're pretty up there in the photography world and YouTube world. Like 100%. They're probably going to share her video. They're going to like share stories, say follow her and blah. And because it's a girl in the photography world where there's a minority, dude, all these photographers are going to be like, yeah, man, I'm going to subscribe. She probably get 1,000 subscribers within the first month. So like,
it's going to be great to watch.
yeah. So like, we're actually going to do a video probably in the next couple of months of like, so she's going to get it because I bought her a camera for her YouTube.
Yep.
So we're going to do like a photo shoot. She's going to shoot with a model. I'm going to shoot with a model, and we're going to like compare the photos.
Nice.
She's never done photos before, so that'll be like a YouTube video. That'll be pretty exciting.
It's awesome. And this is what it's all about, right? And, so much fun, and just being able to create that and sharing those passions. Now, look, the last area that I want to kind of touch on, and before we finish up, is just go through some rapid fire questions. And, you can just kind of just bat it off. You don't have to go into detail, just for a bit of fun and, so people can learn a bit more about yourself. So the first one is advice you would give yourself as a teenager.
Find somebody, and who doesn't matter what they do, whether they're, a lawyer, doctor, whether they are doing YouTube, find someone that inspires you and someone that's willing to help you. Find someone that can like help you out, like, and they're a good person. You need that person in your life that's going to kick you in the ass and help you with whatever you want to do. All right. Like, I never had that. I had good friends. I had my parents who are absolutely amazing, but I did not have someone that was inspirational in regards to like bettering myself. I didn't have anyone that like taught me how to become a man, or if you're a girl, how to become a woman, or I didn't have any of that like growing up. Not that I turned out bad or good or whatever you want to say, but like I just wish I had someone that I could be like, that's a good idea, or that's a bad idea, or I'm going to try that, or like, and if I did, maybe I did start photography when I was 22. Like I can only imagine I had this photography world when I was 22 instead of starting at like 27. Like, so yeah, I would recommend, like, no matter what your passion is, okay, whether you want to be a car racer or whatever you want to do in your life, find someone that's going to inspire you and help you along the way. Right? That's and hang out with them.
It's good advice.
Just hang out with them. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite book you have read? Or listen to, because I know maybe you don't read, but whether it's, if it's not a book, maybe something your favorite, something you've consumed in terms of content.
I'm not really into like books or self-help or stuff like that, because with that type of thing is I'm a doer.
Yep.
So like if I need to do something, I'm going to do it. I don't need a book to help me, or that's why I go back to like get someone around you that's going to inspire you. Like, but one of the best books I've ever read, I was in San Francisco and I totally forgot that my friend booked me a train ride from San Francisco to LA.
Okay.
And that was my only way to get to LA. Long story, but I'll keep it short. But like, it was a 10-hour train ride.
Jeepers.
And I was like, man, what am I going to do for 10 hours on a train? And I wasn't a photographer at this time either. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I went to a bookstore and I bought The Alchemist.
Oh, such a good book.
Yeah, I bought it, and in the 10 hours, I read it within about 5 to 6 hours. I read the book back to front.
It's epic.
Epic. Yes, that's the word for it. It's the best book. I think it's the original cover I've got as well. It was like $25 in a bookstore in San Francisco. And I read it. I absolutely loved it. And that's one of the best books. And I tell a lot of people to read that. Like, it's just a good book. It's not got nothing to do with how to live your life, or I don't want to try and push that on anyone. I just want people to read a good book. And no,
that's good. We'll let them go figure that out, because you're the second guest to mention it as well. And I listened to it when I ran my second marathon. I had it on. Yeah, I did it on double time, 1.5 times, and listened to it when I did my marathon. And it was actually when I did my marathon in COVID, and I had to do it in my backyard. So
true.
The Alchemist was a journey book, and that's exactly what it is. So no, it's a really good choice.
I love that. That's awesome.
All right, the next one for you is then, what is one thing that you struggle with, and one thing that is a strength?
One thing I struggle with is, probably this is even through my schooling, is like the theory of anything.
Okay.
Like if someone tells me, like, this is how you use the camera, and or this is how you put IKEA bed together.
Yeah.
Like the theory stuff for me is just a big struggle, man. Like I'm more of a practical person. I'm more of a doer, like more of a book smart person. Not book street smart person.
Yeah.
Theory for me, like it took me a long time to learn like a camera.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't easy for me. That was a big struggle for me, is to learn a camera. Even like sometimes now when I'm around like photographers that are like absolutely gearheads, like they love the gear, I still I have to listen, because, and even when I listen, I still like go, oh, what the hell, like whatever. That's like one of my weak, but strength is like you show me, like you physically show me. And also communication for me is like a big strength. I can talk to anyone. Like I can make friends with people. I don't know if it's a strength, but when I meet someone, 1 or 2 times, I generally know whether I want to see them ever again.
Yep.
If I want to I don't care. I don't care whether you offer me the world or like, if you're good to me, I'm good to you. If you don't show good values, then like, so I'm a good, I guess, judge a person, if that's what you want to,
Yeah. Okay.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
like, I mean, dude, I've met you how many times? Like once or twice?
Yeah. I
Like
think
physically.
two in the flesh. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, why would I do this if I didn't, if I didn't like who you
well,
were?
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a
Like,
fair point, right? Because, and I think, anything that we do in life, right? I think sometimes it's like when we did brand stuff, when you did stuff for me as well, right? And I've worked with other people where they said they're just not interested, right? They don't like what my brand was about, or they couldn't see it, or whatever. And I think as much as that can be can hurt, it's also very, very good, because it's the same what I'm trying to do with the podcast is I want to have people on here that I'm inspired by, or people that I know, and people that I, value and can see the value from, because you can get so tied up on just doing it for the sake of doing it. And, I'm not giving any benefit to the listener or to the audience. And yeah, so I think that's a fair point.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's skills and weaknesses, I guess. That's
Yeah.
strengths and weaknesses.
All right. Favorite food.
Oh, dude, I'm a big foodie. I should live in Melbourne. I
One
actually
thing,
should live in
one
Melbourne.
thing.
Tacos.
Nice. All right. How do you spend your free time other than photography?
Dude, I do a lot of photography, man. Like I'm always shooting, eh? Like even when I'm like, traveling, I still shoot. But if I could do something for the rest of my life that isn't photography and get paid for it, like I wouldn't mind like, you know, being like a movie critic or something like that. Like
Okay.
I love watching like movies, and I don't do it very much now because of photography, because I
Yep.
can't watch a movie and edit. Like
Yeah.
I'll just
Of course.
distracted. But yeah, I love watching movies, like old movies too, like
Huh.
70s, 80s, 90s stuff,
Nice. Okay.
all time.
And then the last one for you, if you could travel to one location today, where would it be?
So like this time right now, like,
Well, like if someone said you can go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
oh no, without a doubt, man, I would go to Japan.
Nice.
The hard part is where in Japan, because that place is absolutely amazing, man.
No, I think that sums it up. That, and I know you're very passionate about your travel, and hopefully things will be on the up and up soon enough, and you can get back out there. Well, dude, this has been an awesome episode. We've covered so much, and there's a lot of quality content here, and so much nuggets. I've learned a lot, and I think there's a lot here to inspire and encourage others. Now, before we do finish, though, I wanted to give you the chance. If there was one thing that you wanted to leave with the listeners, whether it's a takeaway or a quote or something that you want to share with them, is there anything you want to say?
Hey, basically, if look, I said it before, like if you find what you love, okay, don't think about money. Don't, find what you love and think about what life you want to have. Okay, like life is short, and I only realized that, a couple of years ago. Life is short. I'm 32 now, and when you go or pass away, whatever you want to call it, nobody cares what car you had. Nobody cares how big your house was. Nobody cares if you paid your taxes. Nobody cares about any of that stuff. No one cares if you wore Gucci every day. Okay. What people are going to think about are like, this guy, was he a good person? Did he do what he loved? Did he, you know, what was their lifestyle like? Did his family and my family get together every weekend? Is his kids and my kids, or is her family and my family? Life's too short about worrying about things that you shouldn't worry about. It's you need to think about what makes you happy and what your life is going to be like. Yeah, it's easier said than done. Like we need people out there to work Monday to Friday. We need people out there to work in McDonald's, and we need people to do all those type of things. And if you love it, you love it. Look, if you love working in those industries or whatever it is, yeah, that's cool. But figure out what you love. That's one of the things I tell that to a lot of my boys and a lot of my friends is find what you love, because I found what I love, even though it took me, up until I was 27, 28 years old.
That's it.
So yeah.
Wise words, man. Wise words. It's and you're living the flesh, right? So it's a good example. All right. So the final thing then is, where can people go to see your stuff or follow along? I mean, I'm going to put all this in show notes, so I'll put it all in Jazz. But to hear it from you, where's the first place you want people to go to find you?
So the first place, or the first two important places for me, is my Instagram. So it's Carlo.Obrien.
Yep.
Pretty easy to find. Usually it's one of the top ones when you type in Carlo. And my YouTube, same thing. Carlo Obrien is my YouTube. Like and subscribe, I guess, is what everyone says when that is.
Of course.
But my portfolio and everything like that is my Instagram. So it's all on there. Also, if you ever want to message me, if you want to slide in the DMs, if you want to just have a chat, if it's genuine, I reply to most of my messages. Like, I don't care what country you're from. Like, I got a dude in Istanbul that messaged me saying, "Hey, dude, when you come to Istanbul, if you ever come to Istanbul, you can stay at my house."
Nice.
I've never met this guy in my life. He's just a fan, I guess you want to call it. But I reply back to everything, and if it's genuine, if you're a genuine person, and you'll get a response. So don't be scared if you want to ask questions, if there is any questions, whether it's photography or life in general. This podcast could go for 5 hours. A lot of stories.
That's it. No, thank you for sharing that, man. And like Carlo said it, right? If you've got questions, if you're curious, go ask him or go check out his content and see what he's doing. We've touched on so much today, and a lot around the photography, but also just taking the steps to actually just get things done and actually just doing what you love. And I think that's the key message from this, is whether it's photography, whether it's whatever your passion is or whatever you love, is stick at it, get at it, and get it done, right? Because that's the only way it's going to happen. So really do appreciate you being on the episode, man. It's been super great. And I think it'll be interesting to see as you progress over the next 1 to 2 years and where things are going. Because really it is just early days. And I know you've got some big stuff coming, just in terms of, seeing how much you've grown and the quality of your stuff in the last couple of years. I'm excited to see what will happen over the next. So get behind him, folks. Go check out his stuff. Go follow, go like, all that jazz. And really appreciate you being here, mate.
I'll be in Melbourne next month anyway, man. So let's get a coffee.
Let's do it. It'll be so good. All right. Thanks very much, everyone. And go check out Carlo.
See you guys.
So there you go, folks. What an absolute awesome episode. I loved this episode so much, simply because, I know Carlo, and I know how much work and how much hustle he's put into this. And to see him in his element, doing what he loves, it's pleasing, it's encouraging to see. And that's what this podcast is all about, is tapping into those stories to help you understand that it is possible to take a chance on yourself. It is possible to give something a go and make it into something. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, and we chat about different things in this episode where there's hard work that goes into it, but if you don't take that chance, you're never going to know. So I hope you've been inspired. I hope you've been encouraged to take action and to do something, and to really test out that passion of yours. So I encourage you to go do it. Of course, please go check out his YouTube channel, go check out his Instagram. All of this is in the show notes. And make sure when you jump on over there, you do mention that you've come over from the podcast, so he knows and that we know as well. And reach out to him, have a conversation. He's just another human being like any of us. He's more than happy to have a chat. But of course, once again, really do appreciate you being here. It's been an absolute honor and pleasure to be able to have this conversation with Carlo and bring that to you. That is our mission here. And the intent is to bring you things which will enable you, things which will inspire you, and things which will motivate you to pursue your passion yourself. My name's Chris Furlong. I am the host of the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, and I really do appreciate you being here. Have a good one.